Hello, Vibers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to be talking to you. Tonight is going to be short, but I assure you, sweet. Now, today is Monday, the 5th of September, 2022. Now, 114 years ago, Dorothea MacKellar's famous poem, Core of My Heart, often known by the alternative title, My Country, was first published in the Spectator magazine, which incidentally is a magazine that's still running and the longest continuously published magazine in the English language. The poem was later included in Dorothea MacKellar's first book of poetry, The Closed Door and Other Verses, in 1911. So it was published first under Core of My Heart and then in the book under My Country. So that's why you often see the two titles. Long-term viewers of Northern Vibe will remember an interview I did 4 months ago, which with someone who I genuinely think is a national treasure, Di Morrissey. Now, at the time, I was pumping Di's book. Now, Di actually met Dorothea when she was a wee girl and became acquainted with her. Now, Ms. MacKellar actively encouraged Di to write and thereby ignited that flame within her. Now, Di is one of Australia's, if not Australia's, most favourite author today. She is constantly on the best-selling lists, and produces a book every 1 or 2 years, which is just amazing in itself. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Dorothea's torch has been passed to Di, who incidentally has just released another book, Night Tide. Now, I contacted Di and asked her if she would read this iconic, much-loved poem for us, and thankfully she found time in her very busy schedule, and she agreed. Now, unfortunately, on this recording, you're going to see my ugly mug flash up on the screen mid-reading. That's just what Zoom does. Every now and then, it flashes to the owner of the meeting, even if you don't make any noise. Now, it doesn't impact on the reading, and it's only for a second. You'll notice the expression on my face. Look, I was quite moved and a bit fanboy. And yes, I've had feedback that I get like that, and I'm as guilty as charged. By way of explanation, not excuse, I genuinely felt that I was part of a moment of Australian history for the simple reason, and the simple reason was that it actually was. So you genuinely had this torch passed from one amazing female poet to another amazing female Australian author. It really was a moment in time that I was part of. So the other thing is, all of you, by watching this, are going to actually participate in this great moment. Now, I should say that the Australian Film and Sound Archive has been contacted and they want a copy of this. So this will literally go down in Australian history, but you're going to see it first. My viewers are going to get this before anyone else does. And without further ado, here is Di Morrissey doing Core of My Heart, My Country.
Hi there, I'm Di Morrissey and I write books. And I write books because a very special lady told me that the stories I made up in my head, because I was poor and didn't have a lot of books, I should put all those stories in a book one day. And I've done that. In fact, I'm just about to start my 30th novel, and it's all thanks to a very special lady who lived down the end of the bay, who was always very special to me, who told me that. And she happened to be called Dorothea MacKellar. And that wonderful house at Pittwater was Tarrant Gower. And this is a very special book, falling apart, fly-swatted, brown and old, as loved books are. The Wide Brown Land, and it's a lot of Australian poems. But of course, I turn to page 142 each time. I used to know it off by heart, but I just thought I'd better have it here in case. And this is the poem that Dorothea wrote, which I think all of us as Australians at least had to learn or study. But no matter how old you are, it still kind of resonates, doesn't it? And I hope that children of today, even if they don't know the poem, they appreciate what Dorothea was trying to say. And it's called My Country. The love of field and coppice, of green and shaded lanes, of ordered woods and gardens is running in your veins. Strong love of grey-blue distance, brown streams and soft dim skies. I know, but cannot share it because my love is otherwise. I love a sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons. I love her jewel sea, her beauty and her terror, the wide brown land for me. The stark white ring-barked forests, all tragic to the moon, the sapphire misted mountains, that hot gold flush of noon. Green tangle of the brushes where live lianas coil, and orchids deck the treetops, and ferns the warm, dark soil. Core of my heart, my country, her pitiless sky, when sick at heart around us, we see the cattle die. But then the grey clouds gather, and we can bless again the drumming of an army, the steady, soaking rain. Core of my heart, my country, land of the rainbow gold, of flood and fire and famine, she pays us back threefold. Over the thirsty paddocks, watch after many days, the filmy veil of greenness that thickens as we gaze. An opal-hearted country, a willful, lavish land. All you who've not loved her, you will not understand. Though earth holds many splendors, wherever I may die, I know to what brown country my homing thoughts will fly. Dorothea MacKellar.
I just love it. And again, did you mouth the words? You did, didn't you? I know I did. Did you nod along? Yeah, you did. And look, even if you didn't, it doesn't matter. You've just witnessed and participated in a bit of Australian literary history. You're welcome. And that's what we do here at Northern Vibe. We cultivate the curious and we bring people unique experiences. So next week, I've got Brad Bevan, the magnificent Australian triathlete / Ironman. Look, I interviewed him and it was so good that I'm going to break it up into 3 parts. But tune in next week for part 1. Everyone knows him, of course, as just being a 6 times world champion, however many times it is, and if I'm wrong on that number, I stand corrected. But we really get into Brad's mind in this one, and he shares some really unique things, and because he went through some really, really tough experiences. A traffic accident pretty much robbed him of the gold medal in 2000, and he talks about that, and then he talks about him being with his parents in their dying days too. So it's kind of to quote Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, it's going to be emotional. But look, thank you so much for tuning in. I told you this one was going to be short, but it's been damn sweet, and I hope you enjoyed listening to an Australian literary icon read an Australian literary icon whom she knew. Thank you very much. I'll see you all next week.